Let us discuss about properties of liquids. The liquids are less rigid than solids and are known for their flowing nature. The important properties of liquids are: liquids do not have fixed shape. They take up the shape of the container in which they are poured. This can be explained by performing the experiment. Take a known volume of water in a glass beaker. Then transfer water into a conical flask and finally into a round-bottomed flask. If we look at these flasks, we observe that the water has acquired the shape of all the three containers. From this experiment, we can conclude that liquids have no shape of their own. They take the shape of the container in which they are poured. Liquids have definite volume. Liquids do not have a fixed shape, but they have a definite volume. This can be shown by performing the experiment. Take some water in a beaker and mark the level of water in it. We will find that water takes the shape of the beaker. We pour this water from the beaker into other containers of different shapes one by one. First, we pour the water from beaker into a glass tumbler. We will find that the water takes the shape of the glass tumbler. Then, we pour this water in a conical flask. We will find that the same water now takes the shape of a conical flask. And finally, we pour the water from conical flask into a flat-bottomed flask. The water now takes the shape of a flat-bottomed flask. From this experiment, we conclude that water has no fixed shape of its own. It takes the shape of the container in which it is poured. Now let us pour the water from the flat-bottomed flask back into the original beaker. We will find that water fills the beaker up to the same mark. This means that there is no change in the volume of water. From this activity, we can say that liquids have definite volume. Liquids have fluidity and not rigidity. This is because the interparticle forces between the particles are very weak. As a result, the space between particles and particle movement is high compared to solids. Example: let us pour water from glass tumbler on a table and drop book on a table. We will observe that water flows further on a table, but book doesn't flow. This shows that water, which is a liquid, have flowing nature and book, which is a solid, doesn't flow. Liquids differ in their flowing nature. This can be shown by the activity. Allow water and honey to flow. Water flows at a faster rate than honey. This is because the particles present in the honey are dense and sticky. This combination makes the particles difficult to move. So honey flows slowly than water. From this activity, we can say that liquids have fluidity and not rigidity. The kinetic energy of the particles in the liquid state is more than in the solid state. As the interparticle forces of attraction are weaker, the particles in the liquid have more space compared to solids. From this, we can conclude that the kinetic energy of the particles in the liquid state of a substance is more than in solid state. Particles in the liquid state can easily diffuse. For example, water and milk are both liquids. They mix easily to form a liquid mixture. This is because the space between the particles in liquid is more, which enables diffusion and helps in intermixing of certain liquids. From this activity, we can say that particles in the liquid state can easily diffuse.